Yeah, how you going? This is just a test run. I got some positive feedback on my first upload on my new $2,300 phone, but since then it's been having some issues, and it's not as good as what I thought it'd be. I bought it specifically to be able to record video and to upload to YouTube. It was either a phone or an iPad Pro, and it ended up due to the scarcity of Apple products at the moment. I ended up buying this phone. Feeling pretty good. Um, it was nice to make contact again. Just surrendering at present to the fact that you know, I am prone to cognitive distortion, and some of it uh, derives I derive feelings of self gratification and glory from some of my cognitive distortion, where I exult in the affect, that libido produces. And, it's okay. I understand that that's desire. Um, and, it's basically primary narcissism infused. And when it's infused by libido, I regress into the same sort of mental capacity as a 4-year-old child, basically. And that's what trauma has done to me. So I adhere to my medication. I'm not real sure if the diagnosis of schizophrenia is an absolute. I've heard of others, who take their medication and dismiss the label. And, I feel as though I could do the same thing, because whenever I try and uh, divulge, my insights and awareness and revelations to professionals, they dismiss it pretty readily, and basically just see it as a sign of a thought disorder. But I don't. I feel as though now I don't have to delve into that trauma, because I can understand that it's that it was distortion, not only on my behalf but the reactions of others, and it's just a result of one of those dysfunctional families, and it's not my job to counteract or fix that. It's just my job to identify it as it manifests within me, and not reacting to external distortion from others, because it used to mystify me, and the adults in my life, even to this day, are vulnerable to it. So it's kind of good. Just feeling a lot more connected to myself. I'm not looking for salvation. Which is something I've read in regards to those that have CPTSD. Giving up on the salvation fantasy. For me, that had a lot to do with inner divinity and thinking that if I could cleanse and purify myself, not so much thinking, but feeling. A lot of mine is about feeling. I'm visual and kinesthetic. I'm not an auditory learner. And realizing as well, that's not the optimal way to learn. There's a lot of trial and error, and you know, um, there's mistakes. I've made mistakes along the way, but I don't have to live my life as a recluse. Just because I'm terrified that if I make a mistake, I'll get brutalized or even, fatalized, so to speak. And that's what my early childhood association with that kind of humanness was all about. So hence, the favoritism or the cognitive bias towards pleasure and divinity. I can escape, all this distortion. Never, and that's another thing, acknowledging that, my distortion is basically that divinital magnificence that I thought that I'd find sanctuary in, basically was prophesied in religion. I constructed that in my inner realm. So speaking to psychiatrists about it, I guess I'm a little bit fearful at the moment of being dismissed. In Australia, they have the public health system, and it's and that's where I've been through. That's what I've been through, and it's a little bit like a factory. Once you get a label, they review your notes when you go back in, and they don't want to. They trust in the notes of former psychiatrists. So they're not up to, and within the public health system, I don't think I've seen the same psychiatrist for more than 6 visits. There was one doctor, 7 or 8 years ago, perhaps even more, that I saw maybe 7 or 8 times over a period of 8 months. And over my, or in my experience in the public health system, I've most probably seen a dozen or more. So they don't really get to know you. They just go on the notes that were presented on your last not admission, but visit. And I'm sick of it. I'm thinking about going into the I can't even think of the word now. The where you have to pay not licensed professionals, but they're not part of the government. Yeah, and hopefully building up a rapport with them over time. But then again, I don't think that I need it at times as well. Because I feel as though I'm making some sort of headway into my psychosis, it's starting to lift, and it's beautiful. Just to appreciate the wind on your skin and being connected to your physical realm, um, which is something I dissociated from for a long time, and learning to appreciate that, without the stress of everyday responsibilities. So just in brief, I've been back at home for around 9 months now. I have my room, and I haven't taken much responsibility for it. If you look around, you'll see my desk there. It's got a film of dust on it. My clothes are in a basket. There's some possessions over there that are from the previous tenant of this room. And my computers, the fan, the window. So I'm still really, really lazy, but I think now I'm at a stage where I can let go of all the technical detail. I'm starting to feel satisfied and getting a sense of fulfillment, coming into appreciation of myself as I am. A middle-aged man with a mental health issue. That basically, due to control issues, thought that he had to become a licensed professional in order to satisfy the elite of society. And that kind of pressure has been lifted off me due to the few insights in regards to self-analysis that I've made, or psychoanalysis, that have allowed me to determine that, a lot of my cognitive behavior is vulnerable to distortion. And if I get swept up in a tide of libidinal affect, I have to be cautious, because I am vulnerable to being victimized. Because, like I mentioned, when it comes to processing feelings and emotions, I am very inexperienced in that department. Yeah, but I can acknowledge that today. And whether that's, an issue other people can relate to, because in my imagination, I can produce the all the feelings and emotions and the decorum of someone who is competent, self-confident, and self-assured. But it's a sharp contrast to reality. That kind of ideal has caused me a lot of grief over the years, and I am slowly learning to reject it, because that's the source of a lot of my pain and anguish. And that's, once again, part of that salvation fantasy. So it's been nearly 15 minutes. I wasn't going to talk for this long. Once again, I've been a little bit disjointed. There's a numerous amount of thoughts and ideas that I have. But that's another thing. I develop theories in my own mind. I get ideas, I get notions, I develop theories, and learning to rein that back in, because it really, really confused me. I was never formally educated in that department. I don't remember making those sorts of connections in the science classroom. It's only been over the last couple of days that I realised, that that's what I do. So I don't have any real hypotheses. Um, but that's why I find it difficult to engage other regular people, because I get caught up in the epic and the fantastic and the intellectual stuff. And, the truth be known, I'm just a average citizen, that has peculiar interests in, um, complex issues. But I find it really, really difficult to retain any of that sort of information. So fragmented. That's the way it is. Peace. Hello, all, or goodbye, all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And having a mental illness isn't so bad. It just takes a little time to get accustomed to it. And I haven't felt suicidal or homicidal today. So acceptance is good. Peace. Later.